Hey guys, welcome to the Penergy Lifestyle vlog series. Today I'm here with a good friend of mine, Nerida Mills.
Hi.
She is a psychosomatic bodywork healer. So I only learned about this about 2 months ago. I wasn't sure what it is, and you're mostly not sure what it is either. So I'll let Nerida explain just a little bit about what it is that she does.
Sure. So psychosomatic therapy is the process of basically tapping into the psychosomatic response within the body. So a lot of people understand this as stress creates issues in the body. We understand that it increases your heart rate, it increases your chance of cancer and stroke and heart attack and things like that. So it's basically that concept, but all over your body all of the time, understanding that your emotions and your thought patterns actually influence the way that your body is formed and the way that your body manifests and the different pains or illnesses that you may actually gain from that. So emotion is stored in the body. My job is to help release that emotion and to transform and to heal that emotion so that people can actually move forward in a healthy and clear state, because of course your body affects your mind as well, and so they're interlinked in so many different ways. So we actually are able to create a space of clarity throughout those systems.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So from my experience with my own personal development and meeting people that are within the healing industry, I find that they're either sort of born feeling that that's what they're meant to do, or they've had traumatic experiences or things that they've had to overcome, and through that they've found a quality of life and a healing ability that they've wanted to work with others. What sort of got you into what you do? How did you come about that?
I've always wanted to help other people, always. I wasn't sure how that would play out when I was a kid. Had the usual, like I want to be a nurse or I want to be an ambo driver, and then I had to give a cow an injection one time, nearly passed out, decided that wasn't for me. Don't like needles. But my hair actually fell out when I was 19, so I have alopecia. And I believe very deeply, and I did at the time as well, that it was intrinsically linked to an emotional trauma that I had, feeling of rejection that I experienced a couple of years earlier. And so, that kind of really increased, I guess, my path in personal development and understanding. And I was already on it based on that trauma, but it really heightened that for me, and I really started getting quite curious around, well, what was it where's the link? I knew what the link was associated to, was with stuff with my dad. I knew that, but I didn't know how to articulate it and how to actually move about healing it. And so started doing my own personal development work from there, and a lot of it initially was based around spirituality and understanding the connectedness of everything, and really wanting to feel myself connected. I believed in energy, but I hadn't had the ability to feel energy or to see energy or any of these fun things that I kind of admired in other people for quite a number of years, until I did a bit more training around it and kind of cultivated that within myself. And then got to a point where I was kind of directed away from my spiritual path and more into mindset and understanding human behavior and how we actually create reality in our mind, and moving more into the quantum field as well, I suppose, and neuro-linguistics programming and things like that. And so, I had to kind of reject that spiritual aspect of myself in order to really step fully into this part. But of course, you can't do that forever. All aspects of ourselves are true. And so I was kind of brought back into psychosomatics is actually the thing that kind of brought it all together for me.
Yeah, cool.
So one of my mentors, this is a couple of years ago now, sent me a message and went, "Oh my God, Nerida, I found psychosomatic therapy." And I was just like, what the fuck? Sorry, can I swear?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, there's a therapy for this, and I don't know why or for what reason I had not stumbled across it yet, but obviously it just wasn't the right time. Like, I had to learn other things about myself and go on my own journey first. And so I was already running a business in coaching and personal development at that stage. And then, when I started into the psychosomatic work, it just like everything came together. The spiritual stuff, the mindset stuff, the health and well-being. I'd done some courses around natural therapies and stuff like that as well. So like everything just kind of culminated, and since then it's like my life has gone like this.
Just all rolled into one and taken off. Yeah,
it really has. And it was interesting because before psychosomatics, I'd got myself to a point where I loved my life. And I loved who I was, and but there was still this niggly underlying something
Yep.
that I just couldn't articulate. I couldn't explain what it was. Like, why is there still something that's creating discomfort for me? And through the processes that I now do and practice myself, and for me, it's gone from taking myself from a place of self-love to a place of self-devotion, and there's a very big difference.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a really beautiful journey.
That makes a lot of sense, the way you term the self-love and self-devotion.
Yeah.
This was actually my second session, so our first session was a huge emotional breakthrough for me. And I think when we talk about trauma, it's such a strong word, but trauma can be anything that leaves a mark on your timeline that sort of basically has a lot to do with how you act or react to certain situations in your life, especially as we go through adulthood, and things that can stem all the way back to our childhood. Absolutely. Which was a huge thing that, like you sort of explained, I understood things about my childhood, and I believe that I had dealt with them to a certain level, but it wasn't until, I think there's, when you're on that spiritual growth and willing to change, there's a combination of many things that add to your progression. But our first session for me, after that, was a huge emotional release of relief and actually letting go of what I thought I had let go of. And since then, it's been a month pretty much, a lot of my relationships that not necessarily were in a bad way or difficult, but there was insecurities and things that were coming up for me that weren't projected or put on me from my partner or other people, but it was things that were coming up from me from childhood experiences. And our session really unlocked that, and I can honestly say at this point in my life is the happiest I've ever been, because I'm happy with who I am, and I have more control over my emotions and my feelings. One thing that I really loved, can you explain the teardrop thing? Because, hey, I'm a guy, we talk about guys not expressing emotion. I was in tears before my session and after it, and it was the most beautiful, empowering emotional release that empowered me to have strength and move forward. But I went to wipe my tears when we were talking about what we're talking about. Can you please tell me about the reaction or what happens there?
Yeah, so neurologically, your mind doesn't actually recognise the release of grief until your tears reach about here. So when we're constantly wiping away our tears because we don't want other people to see us in our emotions, because we're so uncomfortable with emotions in our society, it's about our own discomfort and trying to protect them from a discomfort, which is just ridiculous. We just need to just allow ourselves to be wherever. So we don't gain the full benefits if we wipe away our tears. So all you got to do is allow them to just fall that little bit further, and you get so much more healing from that experience.
Yeah, that's beautiful. If people were interested in wanting to get in contact with you, ask questions, or potentially go into a bodywork session, how could they get? Obviously, you could reach out to me, and I'll put you in touch with Nerida. But how could they get in touch with you? Do you have?
Facebook's probably the easiest one. Just search Nerida Mills. Pretty much the only one of those on there.
Yeah.
And just reach out to me on there. I'm always out and about on social media, and pretty quick to get back in contact with people. So. And
one thing for me, I met Nerida, and we're very good friends, and her beautiful partner Adam, who is another healer as well, is a great man. But we all met through the Human Excellence Project. Yes. And there is a very strong connection between this community that was started and run by Mr. Paul Halliday. He's a great man.
We love you, Paul.
Yeah, we do. And the thing is, the beautiful thing about that is that we've all come together, and the power in that community is that people are open to sharing their stories, and this is how we learn and grow.
Yeah, and it's a very, I think it's a really authentic connection that people have there, and the process itself of actually getting out of your comfort zone, getting in the water, it's like anytime you get out of your comfort zone, you become that little bit more vulnerable, and you open up that little bit more with people, and so it's just this beautiful practice that really does facilitate that space of true connection. So I love it. Love it.
So if you are looking for a place of comfort, or you're struggling or looking for better environments, definitely look up the Human Excellence Project or Paul Halliday himself, and come and join us, because it's a great community. It's very like-minded people who want more from life. We all come from many different backgrounds. The one thing that links us all together as humans is we all have a story. We all have experiences that either have defined us or designed us. So if you are struggling and looking for safe comfortable, happy, enjoyable environments, definitely get yourself down there.
And expansive environments as
Yeah.
well. That's one of the things that I've really noticed about the community, and this is one of the reasons that I love it. Like, I love experiences and environments that will expand me, and everybody who goes is expanding.
Yeah.
You know, and there is actually a launch on October the 5th.
Yeah.
If you're interested in coming down to that dip, that's going to be amazing, and we're actually going to have people dipping all over the world at the same time. So
I
that'll be
actually
really cool.
myself will be in the States, in America, for that, so I'll be
You'll be dipping over there.
partaking over there and trying to convince as many people over there that I
Nice.
can get to.
Good work. Good work.
All right, so I'm about to go in for my second session. Thank you very much for
You're
sharing
welcome.
all that. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to myself or Nerida. And just remember, there is always growth. You don't have to be stuck where you are in life. There's
Absolutely.
always room to learn, grow, and have the life that you deserve, to be honest with you. So
And there's a billion tools out there, so all you got to do is pick one up. That's it. Pick
Yeah.
one up and ride with it.
it just starts with one, and then the
Yeah.
rest will flow on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks so much.
No worries.